Hi there, my name's Dal. I'm going to show you today how to make a very simple Venturi for your carp pond or for your aquarium. It's so simple, it's unbelievable. So please watch this video, it's very easy going. Right, now this is the Venturi. Very simple. You have a piece of tubing, your ordinary aquarium oxygen tubing, you know, for your air pumps, that's fine. Hole drilled in at 45 degrees on the farthest side of your ball valve, and the outlet here pointing down, forcing the oxygen further down into the water, and I've pinched the end by heating it over the gas stove and cooling it under the cold water tap, just to give it that little bit more force. And you'll see that if I put my finger over the end of the tube, it seals off the oxygen. And that's it. So you can see it working there, absolutely fine, brilliant. And it's free, it costs no electricity. Essentially it, that's what happens. And by turning this valve, this ball valve, you can adjust the flow, and you need to adjust the flow so that you get the maximum amount of air intake. If there's too much water running through, the water will back up and come out through your hose, which is the last thing you want. And too little, of course, you won't get enough oxygen. So you have to play with it. You must play with it. These screws are nothing. I prefer to use screws rather than glue, so that if I want to change that, I can just whip it off. This chamber here is what I call my pump chamber, and the main pump, I have a circulating pump, but that's nothing to do with this video. The main pump comes in on this pipe here, tee off to the Venturi, and then comes through the UV filter, and then along to the various waterfall outlets. All these go off to the waterfall, which I have on the other side of the wall here. I've chosen to put the Venturi here because I like to have a main pump that is overpowered. I hate to see a pump in a pond that's really at its maximum and it's struggling, you know, to get what you want. I've got sufficient water on the waterfalls with enough reserve to come here and use this as a Venturi. You could put it, in actual fact, on one of these outlets for the waterfall, but I prefer to put it in the main chamber, so that it's recycling, in fact. And this water now will be nicely oxygenated, going back into the pond, which is what you want. Incidentally, I also have a couple of air pumps, but that's because the pond is vastly overstocked. You could put 2 or 3 of these in series. You know, if you could use smaller units and stack them to make a valve chest here. You could have 3 or 4 there to really get the oxygen going in. But, you know, that would be entirely up to you. I find this absolutely sufficient. Loads of oxygen going back into the pond. Now then, what we have here is a length of air hose, which is used in aquaria. It's about 1 foot to 15 inches long, 300 to 400 millimeters. We have a length of 3/4 inch pipe, plastic pipe, nothing special about that, and ball valve, 3/4 inch ball valve, and I'll tell you the metric dimensions in a minute. It doesn't say. It does not say metric. This happens in this country a lot. You get the Americans are still stuck on the old antiquated imperial system, and you know, this country's half metric and half American imperialism, so it's a bit of a bugger. Anyway, it's 3/4 inch. That's all you need to know, and that's it. It is a standard ball valve, nice and stiff. There we are, on off. Nothing special about that. Now you need to drill. You need to drill a pilot hole first, and your finished sized hole will be the outside diameter of the air hose. You mustn't make it too big, otherwise the thing will slop around and it won't work. It's better to be a bit tighter and try and force it in than do anything else. So, there we are then. Let's start off now. Now you can see where I'm aiming. I'm going to go in straight in first, just to get started. And then about 45 degrees. Yeah. We'll change the drill bit. And we'll try that one. We'll try this bit. This bit is a little bit undersized again, I think. I'd rather go under than over. So again, hold it nice and firm. There we are. Just clean it off with your knife or a bit of emery paper, glass paper, whatever. Let's see, will it fit? It's a tight fit. There we are. I see that, and I don't know if you can actually see it. Yes, you can see it inside there. So it's just poking through. You don't want it poking too far, just enough to grip. So that's fine. And that, my friends, well, that's it. It's that simple. So, inlet here comes in here from your pump or your pump feed. An outlet here into your return tank or into a little waterfall or anything like that. But don't make this length too long, because you'll decrease the efficiency of the Venturi. It'll reduce the amount of oxygen you take in. But it's best to come quite short, probably 4 inches, 5 inches at the most. Maybe stick an elbow on, come down like so. Anyway. That's up to you. Right. That's your water flow. Water's going this way, right? So if you put a restrictor within that pipe, anywhere, it can be anything. We'll just make a, for argument's sake, just on the drawing board, so to speak, we've restricted it with a little nozzle, for example. So we make that a little nozzle. Now when the water comes through here, you get a turbulence here. And what it does, it creates a vacuum. All around here, it creates a vacuum. So if we drill a hole in there and put a piece of tubing in, that vacuum will suck the air in, like so. And this in turn will oxygenate the water and carry on to your, well, your pond, your return, whatever. So that'll be fully oxygenated. It won't be saturated, but there'll be plenty of oxygen in it. Now, in lots of cases it's not necessary to have a piece of tubing here. You can get away with just a hole in here, but I find tubing works better. And if you have that up high, so there's no chance of it getting in the water, so assuming your water level's here, and that's about 2 to 3 inches or 150 millimeters, say. Oh no, that's wrong. Or 50 to 75 millimeters. That's about right. Or you can have it, actually, you can have it on the surface. But if your outlet is on or under the surface, it's restricting the water, and in turn that's restricting the oxygen. So the best thing is to have it a couple of inches, 50-60 mil above the water, with it forced down like so, so that causes more turbulence in your water, which gives you more oxygen. I hope I've explained that reasonably well. So here, instead of having a restrictor like this, we have a ball valve. and we can open and shut that to suit the flow and to suit the air intake. So that's the ideal way to me. I mean, I've used that for years now, that system for years, both professionally and for my own ponds, and it works fine. It works absolutely fine. If you're not getting air coming through, you have to keep adjusting till you get the water flow right. That's it.